Okay then, so here we go in the first singles match of this terrific event, and it is Captain America Chris Barnes to get things underway.
Chris electing to switch to a urethane ball.
That was yeah, he has to get it into that drive, I'd say really early, to get it to face up to the pocket pretty quick.
Yeah, the urethane balls are a much slower transition ball. If you look at the 2 shots he threw in the Baker match, the ball was reacting very quickly. And when you have a very quick reacting ball, it's very hard to control it. So Chris opting for the urethane ball, that's going to be much more controllable for him off the spot.
That's a pretty good shot there from Thomas. So, as you can see with the urethane bowling ball, where the oil stays on top of the cover, so it actually transports oil from the front to the end part of the lane. And that push, and the max reactive push all the way up there, like Thomas just did there, just didn't quite face up right.
You know, and I've always felt, Richard, that out on tour, I think Thomas is one of the best at using urethane traffic to his advantage.
Yeah, definitely. He is unbelievable playing the straighter angles. He uses the oil that's the dry that's taking out on the front part of the lane from urethane and gets the ball to stand up real quick and face the pocket a lot. So he doesn't leave a lot of splits when it comes to urethane transition.
Jealous much?
The Americans stand as one. You know, we were just talking about your debut in the Weber Cup, Richard. How about Chris Barnes? This is his 98th match.
I was going to say, that makes my one look very small. To be fair, though, I am 1-1, so I'll take that. Just taking the forward there.
Well, and as we say in the United States, get Thomas a cup of coffee for that sweet roll.
Yeah, that definitely, I think he just picked up his pace there and managed to sneak out that 4-pin like he did in the first frame. From what I've noticed, I see that Chris is really getting hold of it towards the bottom of his swing. If you see here, there's a pinch of loft there. I feel like that's a little tactical advantage to try and miss the dry in the front part of the lane, so the urethane doesn't pick up as quickly as most people rolling on the lane will do.
Absolutely, and you know, with the urethane ball in his hands, I feel that Chris is uncharacteristic miss there from Chris Barnes. Normally one of the better spare shooters out on the national tour in the United States.
Let's go.
Yeah, that certainly opened up my eyes. I rank him up there with the Walter Rays and Norm Dukes of making single pins. Their percentages of making them are 98 to 99 plus percentage on those single pins.
Reminiscent of Chris Vye's mistake in the Baker match. They are very costly. There's going to be no neutral commentary from Richard T, so I can tell you that. He was urging that ball down the lane.
Not going to lie, I might have put my elbow into that one. But if he keeps tripping those 4-pins like that, I'll ride that for sure.
The 2-pin going right off the sidewall, tripping out the 4. I've always said, Richie, when I'm tripping those 4-pins, just as a player, it just seemed always to loosen up my swing, relax me, and just make me a little more confident, because I knew things were going to go my way.
Oh yeah, it's almost you have a kind of mindset, especially when you start to see those hits. You're like, do I make the move or do I just keep tripping the 4-pin? You know, sometimes we preempt it and it becomes costly, but sometimes you can just stay there and trip the 4-pins for the rest of the game.
This identical to his previous frame, but lightning doesn't strike twice.
Chris was not going to miss another 10-pin.
That's Tyree. Big.
Yeah, giving himself a somewhat sarcastic pat on the back.
Yeah, I believe he drilled that plastic ball literally yesterday, so maybe a small fit problem, but he's probably fixed it and not making the same mistake again. I think Thomas did what I said. He preempted the move. He made the small move in and got to the right later, and that stood on top of the urethane push and didn't go through them as well.
Absolutely. Thomas moving his feet just a little to the left and opening up his launch angles from the front, trying to get the ball to corner and set up in the 1-3 pocket a little more optimally.
Nice decent spare there from Thomas.
Go, man, one at a time. Yeah.
At the age of 51, Chris Barnes is the oldest player by some distance on either team, but what a career.
Absolutely. Chris Barnes in the United States, one of the most decorated bowlers ever in the history of the sport. If there's a tournament out there, Chris Barnes has won it.
It's funny talking about Chris and how long he's had of such a career. When I actually first went to the US when I was 10 or 11 years old, I believe, in Wichita, Kansas. And Chris Barnes was the appearing pro there for us as a star to look at. And here I am bowling against him, trying to beat him.
Unless he throws a purple one.
The circle of life. And Chris is going to have to definitely lean on that experience of his, because his ball reaction is fading away, and he has fallen in arrears through four and a half frames of this opening match.
It definitely looks like he's trying to throw that urethane further and further down the lane than he has done the first 3 frames, and it just seems like it's dying on him as it's going further up the lane.
You know, last year these two went head-to-head in the singles. On that occasion, it was the start of the second session. It was a vital match. Barnes prevailed 2-5-4, 2-4-3. Right now, it looks as though revenge could be a dish best served Larsen.
Yes, definitely. Thomas has definitely been working hard to, especially after that USB Masters win. Like that just seems to be his signature thing.
And here we go. This is a ball change. This is going to hook a lot more.
Yeah, I think Chris has kind of seen what Thomas has been doing and kind of joined in the party there.
Couple more.
Chris Barnes opting to go to a Rotogrip RSTX2 reactive resin ball and move a little further to the left, navigate more of that lane, try to use the dry to get the ball back into the 1-3 pocket.
I really wanted that one to go. Real good shot there. It just didn't quite come across over the pin deck there.
Thomas didn't get, it appeared at the line Thomas didn't get out of that ball just as well. He didn't catch it all like he did on the other one. I just felt that got the ball behind the head pin a little bit and caused that weak 10.
Thomas, a fantastic spare shooter.
57, 60. Come on, Barney. He'd have missed it.
So this has been a case of, for Chris Barnes, so near, but not quite on it.
Well, we can see just kind of the adjustments Chris has been trying to make with that urethane ball.
Yeah, it just seems to be going further and further and further up the lane. You can see he's trying to grasp hold of it as much as he can, and it kind of just like bled out. That's not good. I think Chris has been hanging around me on the PBA tour. I'm pretty good at doing that, that's for sure.
Well, this is just a pure pull and grab on Chris's part. And generally, Richie, I don't know about you, but as a player, when my ball reaction isn't ideal and I'm not super comfortable, it just seems like I kind of get the yips a little bit. You tend to get those pull shots where you don't trust it.
Exactly, you kind of get scared to open up your angles and not send it to the right because you're scared it's not going to hook, and he definitely missed in there for sure. Chopper 10 there from Thomas. What a shot that was.
Yeah, this was a quality bowl, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. Yes. You watch the 6-pin there, and it was grasp around the bottom of the 10-pin, like a lumberjack with an axe, taking the 10 out.
Big shot here for Chris. Let's see if he can parlay that good fortune in the 7th.
I think that's going to give Chris a real big confidence boost, knowing that hook from that far right on the lane. These next two, 3 frames for Thomas and 2 frames for Chris, it's going to get really interesting considering how close the game is right now.
Well, you see the max scores possible. Europe, 267. USA, 257. Right now, Thomas just has to keep pace with Chris.
Yeah, for sure. He's just got to, whatever Chris does, Thomas has to do. Get out of there. Trip that 5 out, Thomas. What a great shot.
Well, in the U.S., we call it bouncing the nickel. Ball just gets enough of the 5-pin.
This is going to be a great view of it right here. The head pin catches. Oh, no. I thought the head pin might have caught it, but... And great shot, nonetheless.
That's the 4th consecutive strike for Captain America. But even so, he's still second favourite.
Phil, and this is what makes Chris Barnes so good. He had struggles in the middle of the match. His ball reaction was waning. He had a missed makeable spare, but here he is still putting the pressure on Thomas Larsen. That's what the great players are always able to do, is make really good decisions very quickly and commit to them.
All right, that was a great shot from Thomas. I was just about to cheer for him there. That's definitely making the right moves and right shapes. Like this is going to be a very interesting 10 frame.
Well, situation is simply this. Chris Barnes with a strike gets Team USA to 257. That would force Thomas Larsen to step up and deliver a strike.
Yeah, pretty tense moment right now. With Chris missing right 2 shots ago and the last one missing in. I feel like it's going to be quite comfortable.
You know, he scored 257. That's 3 more than when he played Thomas Larsen last year. Last year, Chris Barnes won. This time, with a bigger points total, he could so easily lose.
Yeah, we said as a European team, we want to give them 250 every game at least. If we have 250 every game at least, we feel like we're going to get a majority of the points. So Thomas gets this one. It's above the number we asked for. I think Thomas might have caught that one a little bit too much, and it kind of read a little earlier than he expected, and it jumped into the headpin a little bit too hard.
You could feel the air sucked out of the room.
Yeah, that would have been special if he caught that one.
Yeah, bounce it out here. You're going somewhere.
Captain America adapts and comes good in the second half of the contest. 5 consecutive strikes to finish off, and it's Chris Barnes who enables the USA to equalise.